All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Randy here with some more real stocks. Futures appear to be pretty flat this morning. Bit of up and down on the overnight session. A couple of minutes to the market open. My kid is screaming for some reason. Okay, checking pre-market movers. We've got a few. None that I recall seeing. MXWL, MDJH, MYND, Ulti. There's a bit of a double bottom base. Morning, Eli. I don't know, you think this qualifies as a double bottom? Yeah, I guess it qualifies as a double bottom buy point on this ULTI, which is already broken out on earnings, so it's way farther than here. It was 3%. Now it's 19% higher than where it is right now. It's 331, so it's already back up near highs. That was fast. AVCO. Market feels weak. In what context? Check EOLs up 13% to 20. Beat. God damn, my kid is fucking loud. They're a biopharmaceutical company. Hold on a second. And markets open. Paycom up 3%. INS, Team, Twitter. Eli Lilly was breaking out into highs. Looks like that's continuing. Volume wasn't very convincing, but it's moving. What the? Okay, there we go. Stocks. So Lilly's still moving. What's that? VMW, Square, flat. Ameren, flat. Lots of things flat. Lilly coming down. Starbucks, Tesla, basically flat. INSG down 1.5. Match taking a tumble today. Ring not doing so great. And then another IBD article about Vive, which is already into new highs. Well, is it weak or does it look good? No, I think the market's fine. Market's doing market stuff. Let it do market stuff. look for leading stocks. I think that's what we're doing. I mean, look, we're never going to go straight up. Man, all my stocks are really spread about the whole spectrum today. Look at that. Few at the bottom, few in the middle, few at the top. Let's go through them. We got INSG. Still holding up this trend line. Looks like it's about to give up the goat on that one, though. Tesla down here. Tesla still chilling around 300, give or take. AMRN still resting. Hasn't quite broken that little flag pattern then. Goose, THRM. That's the index. There's Goose. Goose doing okay. THRM still within that little triangle, which is okay. Chegg. New highs already. Still hanging out up there. Starbucks. Looks like giving up highs. Two times in a row selling. That's earnings. That is a big doji candle. That should be a topping signal. And Friday looks like it was a reversal day. So we'll see what happens with Starbucks. If you look at this on the weekly, it's just breaking out from a much larger base. So I want to give it some room. I don't just want to arbitrarily say it's done, but there's some distribution happening up here. Looks like they have a dividend coming out. Not sure if that'll have any impact on price, but there's definitely a little bit of distribution up here. We broke into highs. We have quite a few red candles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pretty big red candles and 3 pretty big green candles. If you don't count these over here. So we'll see what happens here with Starbucks in the future. Square. That's not Square. That's Square. So Square with that big gap down the other day. And still holding on to that level. Not broken by any stretch. There's a 50-day finding some support. Think about Netflix. I've heard it's a huge money dump. I'm not sure what you're... Oh, money dump. There's nothing like specifically wrong with Netflix. I mean, look at this action straight through the full channel in essentially 2 weeks, give or take. And then we're right back up here sitting in a bull flag on the weekly time frame. I'm not really mad at Netflix at all. I mean, I don't know about a big money dump. There was earnings here. You're always going to have big volume on earnings. And other than that, it's been slow, low volume throughout this little flag. So has classic bull flag signals. Which fundamentals? Let's look at him on a IBD sheet here. So number 2 in the internet subscription services, 94 composite rating. EPS last quarter negative 27%. EPS estimate revisions last quarter earnings surprise. 51% EPS for current year. 3-year EPS growth rate. Sales. 3-year sales growth rate. ROE. Yeah, their profitability sucks. This is a little troublesome. Yeah, a couple chinks in the armor. 148 billion. Yeah, it's a little bit of a mixed picture. It looks like earnings are slowing down. You got negative 27 EPS change. So I'm not sure if that's for how many quarters that's been going on. EPS change current quarters negative 10. Yeah, so not necessarily the healthiest. We'll see if they can turn it around. Yeah. Well, we'll see. This is a nice bull flag. If you want to take a flyer on it, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine too. You know, we have choices to make, and this is one that we don't take then. Let's make sure we're in very good, fundamentally good stocks. If that's what we're going for here. Oh, no wonder I've got a bunch of tabs open. Doing a bunch of website stuff for my girls' work. All right, let's see what these MJ stocks are doing. MJ itself up 2.4%. Cron up another 6%. Continuing the massive rally in MJ stocks. Well, okay, so you've got a position in Netflix. Verify your words to make sure I can get out as soon as I can. It's always difficult in those really big leading stocks to say one way or the other. So right now they're not really in favor. Hey, what's up, Ted? Right now those stocks aren't in those old FANG stocks. They're really not in like favor right now. So you got Facebook, which is doing okay. It gapped up quite a bit, so maybe it's making a comeback. But then like you said, Netflix, Apple's obviously way down. Hasn't come back a tremendous amount yet. Could it be Bible? There's a possibility. There's some tight action down here, but it really hasn't done much. Obviously, Netflix, like we just saw, which is still a little bit lower, but the whole market's a little bit lower. So it's just floating around here. But most of the FANG stocks, and then Google, I guess, would be the other one. But the FANG stocks haven't really made a comeback, and I kind of was thinking about this last night because IBD had an article, or was it IBD? Yeah, IBD had an article about how the market looks good, and they did talk about the FANG stocks and how they really haven't come back, but the rest of the market's come back. And so if these start to come back, this will rip roar higher pretty quick. The Nasdaq will. But I mean, outside of that, if you want to just invest in these MJ stocks and some of the other ones that are running. We've got a good group of stocks that are running, like VMW is just kind of marching its way, sitting at new highs, looking like it's about to. So we broke this little trend line here. We talked about that. Now maybe we're going to break this high. It's attempting to do that right now. We'll see how that plays out. INS won't let me click on it. We talked about them peaking out at 26. Maybe we'll get a second run at it. Paycom, we've been on Paycom. Paycom's been kind of moving. Not great, but it's been moving. Oh, this is NBEV. That's better in Paycom. There we go. You have earnings before market, 2.5 after market, so tomorrow. I don't think TQQ and SQQ is not for dummies by any stretch of the imagination. By any stretch of the imagination. That can be sometimes just as volatile as any stock. Like we talk about in crypto, sometimes the best trades are the easiest ones. What's up, Jake? And so Paycom, it's been just kind of moving higher a little bit. Hasn't been printing a lot of headlines for us, but just been working there. We got Twitter here, kind of tight. Hopefully looks like it may bounce back. You have earnings coming up this week, 2/7 before market. So that's Thursday before market on Twitter. That should be interesting. We had a good reaction on Facebook a few days ago. Man, TQQQ is awesome. I don't think you can really go wrong with it. Unless the whole market, takes a crap, then you just have to get out. And I don't even know if you want to switch to shorting. I didn't go to SQQQ at all during the downturn. I got in TQs and cash. The market has an upside bias, so I pretty much just that's been my new strategy. It's working out. All right, let's go from the top down here. We got ACB apparently topping us out. Also another MJ stock, living in the lower levels of this kind of a base. Not too bad right there. Tilray starting to curl up a little bit. We have a little trend line on Tilray. Come on. All right, never mind. There we go. So there's Tilray stuck in this triangle to break out in either direction. This probably will break out to the upside on Tilray. All the other MJ stocks looks like they're kind of curling up a little bit. NBEV, another MJ one here. It's Turtle Beach headphones for gamers. And it's flattening out here nicely. Maybe getting ready to go up. We have, looks like a higher low here. Google have earnings? I don't know. You know what? I haven't really traded. It hasn't been. I mean, look, it's worked. It's just gone straight up, but it hasn't like been super tradable. I don't know how many times it's been on IBD. Maybe 2 or 3 times. I haven't really traded it in a long time. I was a trend list on my earnings. I'm like, why does that look weird? Too far aftermarket, so they have earnings today. And they're setting up to break out. So I don't play before earnings. I know a lot of good traders that don't touch earnings. And my recommendation would be not to touch earnings because they can gap in any direction. We saw Apple go up a little bit. We saw Tesla kind of being pretty neutral. I don't remember what direction it moved in, to be honest with you. But it didn't really go very far afterwards. And the premium you pay on options is crazy, so that's usually not good for options. So there's all that to take into consideration. So MJ's next up. MJ getting back to my pivot point in a hurry. Look at that, straight off the lows from 23 all the way back up to 36.69 currently. There's my pivot point. That red line has kind of been the line in the sand. And we'll see if that rip roars and continues. Should. I don't know about straight up as it has been, but it'll have a pullback at some point, probably up here towards, I don't know. We'll see what happens with it. I'm not going to forecast what it's going to do. Cron is ridiculous, yes. Cron is ridiculous, and it doesn't even look like it's done. So it looks like you're having accumulation in the whole general sector. Tilray is one that obviously has already had some massive accumulation in it. And the MJ stocks have pretty much stopped selling. I don't know if we have one that's selling down right now. I mean, the whole sector is ridiculous, to be honest with you. Yeah, very good. Very, very good. Paycom. Up next. Paycom doing pretty good. Getting up there towards highs, gapping up before earnings. Earnings are tomorrow after market. So it must be some good news for Paycom. No news for Paycom. They just really, really want it. All right, MJ here. TTD. We talked about this one breaking that trend line. We got earnings coming up. It's always difficult to play right before earnings. A few weeks, as a matter of fact. Not too bad. ACB's here too. Yep, we had ACB here. I don't think I really covered it that much, but look at this volume in ACB, dude. I mean, it's just these MJ plays, man, make me just want to get really heavy in the MJ sector and just take all my money, just dump it in the MJ sector. I don't know if that's a bad thing. I mean, to be honest, I can't say it's going to be the worst thing in the world. It's really been it's going to be one of those runs, you know. It's just hard to go all in on a sector. Yeah, exactly. Famous last words, right? I hear you. I hear you. Trust me, I hear you. Yeah, ACB not looking too bad here. So high of 12, it's down here at 786. I mean, some of these are just really inexpensive. You know, there'll be some consolidations over the next few years in this area. ACB. See if there's any plays here. I do like this. I don't know. I may even. Let's see, 12. Man, crazy. How can you bet against the dumbing down and controlling of society through MJ? I don't know if you can, Ted. I don't know if you can. We all deal with the dumbing down of society through alcohol. And now we're going to have to live through the dumbing down of society through MJ. Is what it is. Better than gay frogs. There's nothing better than gay frogs, Eli. Nothing. In fact, I'm starting my new website, gayfrogs.com, where you pick up your own gay frog. And let me see if GoDaddy still has that. Just buy that domain name. My new trading application. Where you go? Go to gayfrogs.com. Really? Gayfrogs.com, huh? Wow, they want $3,000 for gayfrogs.com. I'm not paying $3,000 for that. OASM, yeah, let's take a peek. What breakout? There's no breakout down here. Too little volume on breakout. In what regards are you talking about? In Sweden? Well, how am I supposed to know that?
You're supposed to be psychic.
I am supposed to be psychic. My wife says I'm supposed to be psychic. Hug bugs. Love you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Sweden, huh? Let's see if we can get to Sweden. OASM stock. I'm assuming that's the Sweden flag because I know what these other two flags are and I don't know what that is. Okay, there we go. Is that it? 2 hour daily. Okay, here we go. Let's go to the daily. See you, Eli. That's true, Ted. I should know all of the symbols and in context. That is correct. Is this it, Jake? Not a good trade. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, right now I would not consider this a good trade at this point. I don't know much about it. It's come down about 53%. Not that that's a bad thing, just is what it is. And you want to wait till this gets back into an uptrend. I don't really bottom buy off trend lines like that. It's not my style. There's no clear accumulation down here. It looks like a little bear flag setting to go down further. So, yeah, I would probably avoid this. If you want to keep an eye on it, that's fine, obviously. Just keep an eye on all of them. But right now it's just kind of basing around. It may come down a little more. We'll have to see how that goes. But yeah, not really good for trading right now. What you really want to look for things poking higher, kind of like the Nasdaq. You know, ideally things like this, little consolidations that you can maybe take a position out of. Those are little rests where the institution take up positions. And it looks like we're getting a little higher here in Square. Twitter's up a little more. VMware's up 2%. Trying to break up. This is really what you're looking for. Something out of a nice base where you come to a high, you go lower for a bit, you come test the high, and then you break out. The volume here isn't the best. We talked about that in VMware. But, yeah, ideally, you want something that looks a little more like that. You know, if you're looking for a turnaround play, Square here would be a good example of a turnaround play. I mean, this had a very well-defined falling wedge with good volume down here at the lows. Right there before we broke out. Then we broke out, and it behaved well after the breakout. That's always important too. Sometimes your stocks don't always behave well after you take your position at your buy point. Hopefully they will. Boeing, what's Boeing doing? Boeing looking good. And Boeing, so this would be a first stage base for Boeing, absolutely. And there's your high, 394.28, so 394.38 would be your buy point. And we're a couple bucks away from that, but gap up on what was blowout earnings for Boeing, that could keep this one rolling for a while. Sure, Jake, yeah, no problem. But ideally you would, yeah, I mean, Boeing's such a gangbuster company, and they are affected by macroeconomic factors. Obviously, they're a very global business. They sell planes to everyone. Maybe the airline sector is a little more immune to a global economic slowdown than others due to the big money buyers that buy its airplanes with global population growing, travel not slowing down, those kind of macroeconomic factors. Maybe it's not being affected as much by, we start hearing nibbles around the world about global slowing. Not that those aren't true, but maybe Boeing isn't as affected by those than other companies are. What's Team doing? All right, Team's already here in highs, guys. We talking about these guys for a while. Atlassian Cup with handle breakout right there. Kind of a weird failure on earnings, but it came right back, like immediately back, and now we're trying to break out into highs. We took over this resistance line, and now we're trying to go higher. So it's almost feels like the train's leaving the station. You get on or don't. I actually do not have a position in this one, but I mean it's been behaving brilliantly. These bases are getting shallower and shorter, and so if that trend continues, you could see a nice move 120, 130 up here on Team at some point in the future, a couple months maybe. Hard to say if it'll get up there in a couple months, maybe more than that, but it's been working. It's been working, doing some work. All right, ACB, Cron, Tilray, Roku jumping right now. So Roku broke out over our little flag base we were talking about last week. Good moves all week. The lows are getting higher. That's really what you'd like to see. And we'll probably have another day that closes a little bit lower than here, but it's working really great. Announces Mustafa Ozgen as GM and SVP of Account Acquisition. Welcome to Roku. Was that the 200-day moving average? Yeah. So being supported by the 10 days, very healthy, well above the 50-day. Now we're about to cross the 200-day on Roku, so that could be a turnaround play. A little bit extended for this kind of a breakout there. We actually gapped up over that, and so that's a great buy point right there. If any of you guys bought that, good job. Looks like that may still work. Although we did go over this fundamentally, if I'm not mistaken, it didn't have the best fundamentals. Twitter up 1.5%, Square, and VMware. Square reversing higher here a little bit, which is nice. Ideally, it'd keep going. It never did undercut the low from that gap down on that downgrade from Raymond James, whoever that douchebag is. And now Raymond James is a firm. The douchebag is the guy that put out the article. Although he was probably just paid to do so by Raymond James so they could buy more stock down here. It's probably what it was. Just like Amazon. Wasn't it Amazon that had all those articles about downgrades and they downgraded it at $5? I still need to make a video about that before it goes away. Oh, 2-1? Oh, there we go. Is it stupid to short S&P? Yes. Yes. That's the reason why I say yes. Not necessarily that the S&P won't go down, but at this point in the market cycle, I generally like to stay with the market. In fact, you should always trade with the market trend, and right now the market trend is up. So yes, it's stupid to short the S&P by those metrics. Absolutely. That would be that you're basically guessing that it's going to fall because it's gone up. And the stock market always does what you don't expect it to do. It's kind of weird. It's really weird in that fashion. So I would not be shorting any index at this point. Even if it goes down 5% from here, I'll still stand by that statement. It's just not a good thing to do. So I'm 2-1. I'm trying to see what's that? Oh, that's the order thing. Yeah, I wanted to get a screenshot of that and I didn't. I'll play with that later. But yeah, so that's market manipulation right there. Plain and simple. All right. Let's see what's down today. I got to get going a little bit early. Got to drop my kid off at daycare today. So I'm going to leave probably in a couple of minutes here. If you guys want me to look at any other stocks, let me know. THO, not having a good day. WGO, not having a good day. Winnebago. Ted, that's you, Ted. MTZ. Ulta, down here today. Nothing super crazy. Pullback looks like it has a little gap here. Low volume in this little area. Alexion. Some non-trending stocks down here, which is fine. We're not super interested in those. CME Group. This is Chicago Mercantile Exchange, guys, where they trade futures and options and stuff. Looks like it's still basing, and I don't know what's going on, why it would. I mean, it's looking really healthy. It hasn't broken down. Only came down 11%. It's in the lower part of this range. I would almost argue these could be days to maybe take small positions in CME Group. I mean, you can see the movement in CME Group. When it gets in these low levels, like in these bases, there's usually good days to buy. I'm not a counter trend trader, but I'm always intrigued by these types of days where you have like higher little consolidations and you get these scary days. So sometimes good days to take positions in high quality stocks. CME Group is a high quality stock. So yeah, see this whole little group right here with some support right here. So we'll see how that plays out. I'm not taking any position in it, but I always think it's interesting, especially because it's in such a big uptrend. I mean, only down 11%. This is tighter than Eli Lilly. Eli Lilly's been down 13. This is down 11. So lots of strength here, in terms of why it's not running right now. No idea, but anyways, always interesting. MU, we talked about Micron kind of coming out potentially at a low here, breaking this trend line in decent fashion too, with good volume. This could be one of those bottom buys if you want to, if that's part of your strategy. What do you count as trend on the daily? So yeah, it'd be a daily chart, and if you remember, we were talking about follow-through days. If you get a follow-through day, you're in an uptrend, and we've actually had several follow-through days. And you can have several follow-through days. They don't change the market at all, but they're always nice confirmation. So here's your first follow-through day. Doesn't look like it on this particular chart because the way the volume is on the futures, but I think the S&P had a follow-through day here, and then you have another follow-through day here, elevated volume over, over a certain percentage, and then we had another one here, another follow-through day here. So we've had several follow-through days indicating institutional accumulation, and we've had a couple distribution days, one being here, I think this being another distribution day. So, but a couple distribution days is not abnormal by any stretch of the imagination, but you don't always get follow-through days. And so having 3 follow-through days early in a rally means the market's in an uptrend. That means institutions are putting money to work, and you're correct, the market does always have a perpetual uptrend on the longer-term chart, which is why you want to heed these follow-through day signals and go with the market. And you don't short the market. I generally don't short the market. I used to, but I don't anymore. And Lilly coming down 1.5% now, reversing from highs. See, that's what low volume will get you right there. There we go. So kind of a mini breakout, really no volume. That's That's what that can lead to right there. But all right, guys, I got to go. I got to get the kid to daycare, get back here, and get ready for the Crypto Power Hour. But yeah, Jake, if you want to go to investors.com and research follow through day, that'll kind of help you out a little bit on that. But that's the general gist of it. Yeah, but I wouldn't arbitrarily short it here. You wouldn't have. You're only going to make a couple percentage points probably the way this market's been behaving lately. So, all right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. I'll see you guys in the Crypto Power Hour for those of you in there. Other than that, I'll see you guys here tomorrow. Bye-bye.